I will not bow down. Keep putting me off, I'm not gonna change my mind. You're headstrong forward, but this time around I'm taking my time. Don't push me, I'm not coming down, I'm not giving up. Oh, don't rush me, I made up my mind, going straight to the top. Follow blindly, way my own way. See the truth behind it. Am I the only one who's not giving up? I'm looking around, yeah, you all giving up. You need a slap in your face, time to wake the hell up. Follow blindly. Am I the only one who's not giving up? Hey, what's going on now? Do you see what I mean? Nobody gives a damn, and still they bow down, just appeasing the game. To the visible ends off, you're not getting me no matter how hard you try. So just stay off, come near and I'll leave, I'm just fine getting by. Follow blindly, way my own way. See the truth behind it. Am I the only one who's not giving up? I'm looking around, yeah, you all giving up. You need a slap in your face, time to wake the hell up. Follow blindly. Am I the only one who's not giving up? I will not follow blind, not follow blind, not follow blindly. And this is who I am tonight, so get it right, don't follow blindly. Follow blindly, way my own way. See the truth behind it. Am I the only one who's not giving up? I'm looking around, yeah, you all giving up. You need a slap in your face, time to wake the hell up. Follow blindly. Am I the only one who's not giving up?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Straight Talk with Sally. This is our live podcast recording. We throw these in randomly throughout the year, so you've got to keep a close eye on what's happening over on YouTube if you don't want to miss our live streams. Now, the best way to stay up to date, oh, there's a fly. Hello. The best way to stay up to date with all of our live streams is just head to sparkleclassacademy.com/calendar and you can subscribe to our calendar. But today it's all about branding for your business. We've got an amazing guest lined up for you today. She is a seasoned entrepreneur with a passion for design and branding, with over 20 years experience in owning her own business and having a design in the fitness sector. And she brings so much wealth and knowledge into the design space. Now, she was a former senior community manager at Canva, and now she is a Canva Verified Expert. And alongside her role as a branding and design coach at the Canva Society, she guides solo entrepreneurs and small business owners to create content to build visibility, impact, and authority. We were both one of the very first 30 Canva certified creatives out there in the big wide world, and we've known each other online space for a really long time. I'm so excited to welcome to Straight Talk with Sally today my amazing guest. It's Rebecca Flint. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Sally. It's an honor to be here today, especially with someone I've known for such a long time.
I know, right? Now, we may have noises in the background today. It's nearly over 40 degrees in my office outside. So we've migrated to the sort of inside the inside recording space. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm guessing we've got a guest at the door because the dogs are being the doorbell right now. So not much we can do. Either Sally melts or we have dogs in the background. I think we're going to stick with the dogs today. So, Rebecca, we met in person a little while ago in Sydney, a few years ago, actually, at one of the very first Canva big events that we ran. And you were living in Sydney, but now you're living up in the Sunshine Coast. Beautiful weather up there.
Yes.
What made you move from, the hustle and the bustle of Sydney to the sunny coast?
Look, I had an absolute dream job at Canva and it was amazing. But, when you're an entrepreneur, you really you have this drive to do your own thing. And so we're really at a stage after COVID where we needed a fresh start and we wanted to live somewhere where we were a little bit less stressed. And so we decided to move up to the Sunshine Coast, and I did it so I could launch my own business and, chase my own dreams and, help many, many, many business owners all over the world. So, yeah. And also, it's so beautiful up here and the weather is amazing all year round. So, I mean, why not, hey?
I know, right? Well, the little rule that I have is don't hire an entrepreneur in your business because they're always probably going to leave and go and start their own business. And you being an entrepreneur, in that corporate job, I could see why, because, I couldn't do corporate again. It is an amazing place. They feed you and they've got such a beautiful space. I know they've got beer on tap too, which was pretty fun, right? It's such a nice place there, but I do get it. As an entrepreneur, you're always kind of got this inner drive to have your own thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I absolutely loved working there. Like you said, you get fed. The people they hire are incredible. Like I would go back there in a second, but we just needed a shift in where we were living and, where we wanted to raise our kids and that type of thing. So, yeah.
So tell me, before we get into like the topic around branding and everything today, tell me a little bit more about your journey. Apart from, working at Canva and now having your own business, what started this whole love of design and branding?
Oh my goodness. Wow. You're going to take me right back to high school. So I got to the point in high school where you get to choose your own subjects and, economics and science and all of those things didn't really kind of float my boat. And so I decided to do 2 and 3 unit art, photography, PDHPE. And through doing that, I just found I had an absolute love of all things art and design. And when I was in year 12, just before my HSC, I went for a scholarship at KVB College in North Sydney, and I was lucky enough to get it. So really getting the scholarship was kind of the catalyst for, okay, well, I guess that's what I'm doing now. So I went off and, learned graphic design. And way back in the day, we didn't even have social media and, the web, the www had only really just come in maybe 4 or 5 years prior to that. So I'm very much showing my age by telling you this story, but my love for design and art has been there for a long time. It just took me a while to discover it in high school, I think. And I found, I'd be out in the street and I'd really be looking at signage and how the typography sat and how they used colors. And, I just kind of had this natural curiosity, I guess, for what made advertising, especially back then, everything was very much print. What stood out and what worked and how did they achieve that using typography and colors and space and, basic design principles really. And so, yeah, it became somewhat of an obsession, I guess. So it's always been there. And then over the years, we've also started 3 gyms from scratch. So obviously my role in the gyms was branding, graphic design, web design, social media, marketing, all of the creative everything creative space. And inadvertently through having the gyms as well, we were building these communities on and offline. And that's what led me to Canva, was that I was in the CC program with you and an opportunity came up where they needed somebody to, someone with a business background and also community building, but could also do graphic design, create content, write scripts, shoot videos, video editing. And I just happened to tick all the boxes. So I was very fortunate to be offered a role that really brought my whole entire world together into one amazing program. And yeah, so I helped set up the community for the Global Affiliates program, which was called Canva Champions, and it was an absolute blast. It was such a great, it was a great couple of years, and it's definitely sort of solidified my love for Canva even more during that time. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we love Canva. You found it in high school, honey. I found mine in the 30s before I realized that it was design, and went then sort of started doing it and teaching it, and
Yeah.
and then of course it sort of goes across all of your business in all different areas, like you said, marketing, sales, all the things. So high school, finding it late in high school, that's still pretty good, right? Like I was very
Look, I'm
arty.
very fortunate.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very fortunate. I was one of those few people that actually was in high school and knew exactly what they wanted to do, and even though I've weaved in and out of it over the years, I've always come back to it, and just this week I've worked on a couple of brand design jobs, and I said to my husband, I said, it feels so good to be on the tools from time to time. Like, I do a load of coaching, but sometimes I just love going back to my roots and, creating and developing things from scratch, and, just,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
I'm
is.
very lucky
Yeah.
girl.
Isn't it good that we get to do what we love? And I know what you mean
Yes.
by getting back on the tools. I've just started in a startup with a friend, and I'm back on the automation tools at the moment. And I haven't been really in there for a while, but it's really nice
Yeah,
to get in there and, go back to those things that really light you up. Not that you want to stay
absolutely.
there all the time,
Yeah,
and I don't know if you're like me, but the coaching part is so inspiring, right?
absolutely. Yes.
Watching people go forth and create their visions through the help that we give them. But we're here today specifically. Our topic is all about mastering Canva for branding in your business. So, can you walk
Mhm.
us through a guide on how to do consistent branding? Because I see people always chopping and changing their branding when it comes to their business. So, give us a bit of a roadmap on what you think is consistency when it comes to branding.
Absolutely. So if we look at, say, the five top elements that create a brand identity, we're looking at our logo, our typography, tagline, imagery, messaging, and really it's kind of that, it's bringing them together in a way that's consistent on every single piece of collateral that you produce. So making sure that your fonts across everything are the same, that you're using your same brand colors, that you're using imagery that really invites people into your world of what it might be like to work with you in your business, and creating content with messaging that really helps your customer understand how you can help them, how you can solve their problems. And all of this is done through this very fancy pants little part of Canva called Brand Kit. So inside of your brand hub, if you're on your homepage, you can go to the left-hand menu, there's Brand Hub. You go inside there, you can actually set up a brand kit for your business. So you can add your logos, your fonts, your brand icons, your imagery, your tone of voice. You can set up your typography or font hierarchy. So how do your headlines appear? How does your body copy appear? That type of thing. And once that's set up, you could pretty much choose any template in the whole of the Canva library, and there are millions of them. And you can very quickly apply your brand style through, there's a section in there called the Styles tab. You can very quickly add your brand fonts, brand colors, and then obviously drag your brand imagery in. So setting that up in the first place is going to help you create on-brand and consistent content going forward. But I also recommend that you partner all of this with a set of brand guidelines. So almost like a Bible that shows you and your team, or your VA, or your PA, or whoever it is, or your graphic designer that's helping you with your branded content, that every time they create something, it needs to have these rules applied. So how your headlines appear, how your imagery appears, how to use your logo, how not to use your logo, that type of thing. So you're just really wanting to make sure that you are showing up consistently, and making sure that everything is cohesive. And by doing that over a period of time, your audience will start to recognize and know your brand, which ultimately builds trust. And it's that trust that over time will help them choose you as an expert on it, or a business to be able to help them with their problems or provide a service. So yeah.
I love the design kit because, or the brand
Hmm.
kit, because it does make it really simple, right? Especially when you're getting those new VAs in to have all of your colors in the one place. Tell me more about the design guidelines. Like, what's the
Okay.
best way to go about putting together a design guideline?
Absolutely. So if you're just a solopreneur, you might like to have just a single page that's almost like a brand board. So you can actually go into Canva and search for a brand board template. And what you're going to see on these single pages is typically you'd place your logo, you'd place what fonts you use, you'd select your colors, and you might have them broken down into, say, your hex color values, your RGB, your CMYK. You might have a selection of brand imagery and maybe an example of what your brand messaging is. And that's just a single one page, very easy to do. And just a search for brand board. However, if you want something a little bit more comprehensive, you're going to be searching for a template called brand guide or brand guidelines. And these are set up in a way that you'll often place some of your other brand elements like your mission, vision, purpose, that type of thing, right through to a very comprehensive breakdown of your colors. So making sure that you've got even PMS, CMYK, hex color values, RGB color values, so that if your designer's creating something on screen or print, they have the exact color breakdowns. You might even then start to go into, well, here's how our brand looks when it appears on Instagram, and here's how it looks when it appears on a pull-up banner. So you start to get a little bit more in depth into showing or showcasing how your brand looks when you've started to create that consistently branded content. And so searching for brand guidelines, a lot of the templates in there will show you what you need to have in there. You just kind of need to go in and replace it with your own brand elements and your own branded design work. So yeah.
How cool is that? I love the fact that you can now just go and look up a brand guideline and put it together. I remember back in the day, 20 odd years ago when I was doing this, creating brand guidelines and those big books that you would get printed out and they'd hand out to the whole team. And
Yeah.
how much simpler Canva makes that for you, just to be able to already have a template ready to just take and tweak. But that one pager, I think, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, don't get
Yeah.
hung up too much on having the whole kit and caboodle done straight away, right?
That's exactly right.
Because
Yeah.
you've got to get out there
Yeah.
with
And look,
consistency.
yeah, absolutely hit the nail on the head. I often say to my preps, so I've got a coaching group called the Canva Society, and people join it and they want to have everything sorted overnight. And it's like, you need to understand that your brand will progress, especially if it's just you and you're creating it yourself. Your brand will progress over time, and you need to be a little bit flexible. And my advice is just get yourself out there. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't have the perfect logo and you don't have the perfect colors chosen yet. If you are showing up consistently, then you are 1,000 times ahead more than someone who's not showing up at all that has a perfect looking brand. So put yourself out there with a not perfect brand and get used to just putting yourself out there. Get used to being consistently show up, deliver your message through video or through a graphic you've created in Canva. And it doesn't matter if it's not bang on brand, you'll develop that over time. And even if you have a beautiful brand identity, over time you'll start to figure out what works well on social media versus in print and things like that. And you might start to tweak. You might start to go, well, actually, this font doesn't work very well when it's small. Or my logo, I love it, it's beautiful, but when it's teeny tiny and I put it on a promotional pen, I can't read the lettering. So, over time, you're going to start to change and tweak the way you do your own brand. Now, this is you doing your own brand yourself. Obviously, if you work with a very senior professional graphic designer, which I highly recommend doing if you have the funds to do that, they'll nail all of this for you. They'll make sure that your logo is great when it's teeny tiny or it's reversed out of a colored background. But if you're doing this yourself, don't get hung up on having the perfect brand. Just get yourself out there, because at the end of the day, you are your brand. And if you're showing up consistently and authentically, you're going to attract your audience regardless of what colors you choose or what fonts you have. So,
Oh, yes, preach, preach. All these people are like, I can't start until my branding's right. And I'm like,
yeah,
you will
yes, you
evolve
can.
and you will grow over time, and your brand
Yeah,
does with you as well. I always
yeah,
sort of, I've got to get a logo. I'm like, logo right here. right? This is the
Yeah,
starting
exactly.
logo, and then eventually get a logo done.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
oh, look, you preach
It's
to
quite
me.
funny. My logo for Rebecca Flint is the Playfair display font, and it's in black, and
There you
it is on
go.
my website as that, and that's all it is. And I'm a 25-year plus very experienced professional brand designer. I just wanted something really simple. I wanted
Yep.
something that kind of looked a little bit like the Ralph Lauren logo, and that was it. So you don't have to get super fancy and spend a lot of money. You can just choose a beautiful typeface that suits you and launch with that first. Then you can develop it down the track a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Now, I know everyone's walking into this whole AI world that we're living in,
Yep.
and I love that it sparkles, right? Little sparkly symbols for all the AI. So that makes me happy too. But Canva has so much in regards
Yes.
to what it can do using AI. I mean, some of the things that I've discovered over the time is massively huge time saving things that you can do.
Absolutely.
Can
Yeah.
you share with us some of the content creation ideas that we could, utilize inside of Canva and using AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you haven't done so already, when you log into Canva, again on the left-hand side, there's the Magic Studio button or menu tab. It sparkles, it's got purple in it, you can't miss it. If you click on that, you'll get a very good overview of the majority of Canva's AI built-in tools. So you've got things like Magic Design. So what Magic Design does is it allows you to not be a designer, and basically you would say something along the lines of, I'd like to create an Instagram post that promotes my new ebook. And then you might just click your cover of your ebook and it will magically create a post for you and put copy in there and everything. So all you have to do then is apply your brand colors and you're good to go. So that's Magic Design. There's also that for presentations, for videos. So you can have some AI created content already done for you. Now, is it the be all and end all and perfect solution in the end? No, it's not. You definitely have to go in there and tweak the copy a little bit, make sure that your brand colors are correct. Sometimes it doesn't even choose my brand font, so I have to go and add those in afterwards. But what it does is gives you a very quick and good foundation on getting started. And oftentimes for people, it's that getting started that makes them procrastinate, and then they
Staring
get
at that
lost
white
and
page,
overwhelmed
right?
in a sea of templates. And, so if you can just get over that initial hurdle, then you can, sometimes you actually find a template that you're like, even as a designer, I'm like, oh, wow, that actually looks really good. I'm just going to go ahead and use that exactly as is. And then other times, it might be nearly perfect, but you might have to bring in a different imagery to fit a certain box, or just change the type size or something like that. But it's a very good way of getting started. And there's lots of other cool magic tools in there. There's Magic Eraser, so you can get rid of, like, say for example, I have this background here and I wanted to get rid of this boat down here. I can just use this Magic Eraser, scrub over it, and it will get rid of it out of my picture for me entirely. So I'm just trying to think of all the others. There's so many tools. Oh, Magic Write as well. So you could be creating an ebook or a document or a social media post. And if you're just not sure really what to write, you can use the Magic Write tool, which is built off the ChatGPT platform. And it just helps you kind of get started. Oftentimes I found it's put too much text in for me. So there's actually a really cool button in there too. So you can write the text with Magic Write, and then you can go in and summarize it, and it will just make it shorter for you. And something super fun to play with, there's a button that says sprinkle fairy dust or add fairy magic or something. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it turns your copy into this like magic sparkly world, which I think you'd really love, Sal.
Oh, I would. Oh,
So
so
yeah,
good.
definitely jump in and have a play with all of those tools inside of Magic Studio. There's amazing demo videos on each of the tools, so it's just kind of about getting in there and having a play and seeing what's possible. So I totally forgot, you can do text to image, text to video, so you can put prompts in and it will create original artwork for you, which is really cool too. So all of this is a little bit overwhelming if you're just getting started, so I would keep things really simple. and focus mainly on, just creating a social media post that you need, or, a presentation that you might need for your business, and just focus on that first before getting super fancy. And then play with the tools maybe when you've finished your project. So,
you could get lost in the sea of selections and templates and all the AI, right? And we had a client once, I jumped in to a group coaching session. She says, I've been trying to pick an image and I'm like, how long? She's like, 2 hours. I'm like, let me choose it right now. Done. Moving on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got to apply the done is better than perfect principle sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
you're not making any money if your information or your promotional posts aren't out there in the world. If no one knows you exist, then you won't pick up clients. So
Yeah.
get it done, post
Yeah,
it and move on.
That's it. And Canva's supposed to make things easier,
Yes.
and not for you to get
Yes.
lost in all of the choices out there. And I do really love how you said when you're using AI, it's a great starting point, right?
Yeah.
It won't do everything for you. So don't worry, AI is not going to take over everything. It is a great starting point. Like that
Yet.
white page or overwhelm with too many templates, having that thing to just be able to get you going.
Yeah.
It's really surprising how fast you can get creating when you do use AI as something to help you get started. Now,
Absolutely.
out of all of the things, this was not like, I just want to know, out of all of the things that Canva does, what would be your favorite?
Do you know, I get asked this all the time, and it's one simple tool. It's the resize tool. The resize tool as a graphic designer saves me so much money. It's not fancy, doesn't, create fairy dust sprinkles, but what it does do is I always start with an Instagram square post, because I think that's the smallest shape that I'm going to need to fit everything in. So I create an Instagram post, I absolutely nail that. And then I use the resize tool to be able to go and create then an animated Instagram story, a poster, a presentation, a YouTube thumbnail, so all the different sizes. So I'm going from square to portrait to screen size 1920 by 1080 to A4, and it does it for me in seconds. And of course, once it's done, because it's different shapes, I have to go in and just kind of manually tweak things a little bit. But I think my record is 11 pieces of artwork completely finished in under 10 minutes. So as a designer back in the day with the Adobe suite of products using InDesign, you'd have to create a new file for each one, and you'd have to resize it. And then it was just painful. And then you're creating individual PDFs for your client to sign off. Like it's, so a very simple tool, but it's called, actually, I'm just going to check real quick because they keep changing the name of it. It was called Magic Resize, and then they called it Magic Switch, and I think now it's back to Resize. Let's see, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, I agree. As a designer, it used to be so time consuming with all the Adobe things, doing all of that.
Yeah. It's called Magic Resize and Switch now, I think.
They're just combine all.
Resize and Magic Switch.
Okay,
it's
there
called.
you go.
So it used to be called Magic Resize, then it was called Resize, then they changed it to Magic Switch, and now it's Resize and Magic Switch. So I'm not entirely sure why, but that's what it's called. So if you've heard me say Resize or Magic Switch, it's the same thing. It's a button that sits up in the blue section when you're designing a piece of artwork. So go and have a go at that. But the thing I love about it most is you select the different sizes, and it gives you a little preview of what that's going to look like. So it gives you a heads up, like this is going to look average when you create this, so you're going to have to make a few tweaks. But yeah, super big time saver.
Oh, for sure, especially for everyone who's trying to get that omni-channel presence and be across all the places. You don't want to be spending hours resizing just for a single graphic and things that are going out there.
Yes.
Like when we promote the podcast or whatever, we want it to be on all the places. But Joyce, who is our graphic designer in-house, nice and simple for her to be able to do all of that stuff for you guys.
So quick.
So quick. Good. That was a really good answer too. Like I'm like, oh, I wonder what she was going to pick. But yes, it's the most simple, the most time saving one.
Yeah, I have so many favorites. Like I love the background remover tool because, as you know, as a graphic designer, you used to spend hours in Photoshop painstakingly de-petching around hair, and then you'd have a little flyaway piece of hair that you had to de-petch around. And now you just click, you go your photo, edit photo, background remover, done. And
So good.
also it
And
has
I'm
it
also
for video as well.
Yes, I know. I've tried it on a few videos myself. Like even I had like if at the end of this you'll see like the little dancing GIF that I made. Little Dr. Sparkle, she dances around. She's just from Snapchat. You know how you can make your little
Oh,
pictures and
yes,
things.
yes.
And I just held her up on my phone, did a video of her just dancing in front of like a book. Just a plain green background, I think it was. And then, yeah, just used it and she looks fabulous.
Amazing.
I know, right? And the time that it used to take in the CS to do
Yeah.
all of those things, it's crazy. I mean, I still get in and do some vector stuff. That's about the only thing. And then the other thing I've noticed is a lot of the shortcuts, like, Command G, all those things
Yes.
from CS are all starting to happen inside of
Yes.
Canva, and moving position, right? Command with your little
Yes.
thing, plus and minus and all the things. So
Yes.
the more I'm starting to notice the CS shortcuts coming in, the more fun it is for me as well.
And time saving too, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you about all of the Canva branding stuff. So I think the biggest key takeaway there for everyone is consistency, right?
100%.
Really embrace that, imperfect is better than perfect. Just get it done.
100%. Yeah.
I think was a big one. And yeah, get in and use the AI, have a play around, and definitely set up your brand kit, because once that's done, it just saves so much time in all of your design work and your team once you start growing a team too. Now, we love to learn more about you here in the Sparkle world on Straight Talk with Sally. So we've got some Sparkle questions that my girls love to line up for you. Okay, so
I'm a bit scared.
don't be too scared. It's okay. It's not too bad. So from your industry, so from in the branding industry, what's a big myth that people might think about branding and in your profession that you would like to debunk?
Yeah, okay. I think definitely in this day and age, you don't need to be a designer to create your own brand. That's not saying you don't need to use a designer. I am a very, very expensive, very senior level designer, and I have clients that pay me a lot of money to do their work for them. But if you're just getting started, you don't have to be a designer. You can very easily jump into Canva, set up a brand, set up some branded artwork, and get it out there. So I'm a huge believer now, having started many of my own businesses before, that getting yourself out there, no matter how it looks really, is more important than not getting yourself out there at all. So with all of the tools and capabilities available now, especially in Canva, you don't need to be a pro designer to be able to take care of your own branding and graphic design and stuff like that. Second to that, once you do have the money coming in and you want to outsource that, absolutely go and work with a senior designer. Get everything super polished, and absolutely perfect all of those areas within your brand, because it will pay dividends and it's well worth the money. But don't spend the money up front. Spend the money on marketing and advertising your business to actually bring people in first. And then make the money and then outsource.
100%. Yes. I think definitely, yeah, like you said, just get your brand done, be happy with what you have for now. But having a professional designer is so important, I think, as you start to grow, because there's so many things you don't know if you're not into design. Like people, I remember sending me all different types of file types. They'll send me a JPEG and call that a logo. And I'm like, no. Right. But once you get that professional designer, there are so many skills that you don't know, because it's what they do all day, every day, when it comes to, how to use design really well. But for now, just get out there if you're definitely at that startup stage. Now, my next one is, who are 3 people who have helped to inspire and support you on your entrepreneurial journey?
Definitely my dad. So he owned a huge multinational, big surfing company. And if you're into surfing, you might know his products there are FCS, the removable fin system in surfboards, and Gorilla Grip, which is the pad that goes on the top of the surfboard that stops you from slipping. So he and my uncle and another guy from Avalon, they started this company out of a teeny tiny garage in Avalon at first, and then they ended up with their worldwide headquarters at Mona Vale, but they had international offices all around the world. And at the height of when he owned the business, they owned 80% market share worldwide. So I've learned a lot of my business from him. Secondly, I was a very high level gymnast, so my gymnastics coaches have certainly, look, I'll just quickly tell you this story. I have found that I have used what I learned in gymnastics over and over and over and over again in my business. And it's very simply put that, for example, you need to get ready for a competition in a year's time. In order to be at absolute peak performance at that point in a year's time, you need to slowly work back and figure out, well, what do I need to do by this month? What do I need to do by this month? What do I need to do today that's going to get me to there? And it is exactly the same in business. So setting your goals for, say, a year out, 5 years out, 10 years out, whatever, and then reverse engineering that back to what tasks do I need to do today that are going to help me chip away at and build what I need to build to get to the point I need to be at in a year, 5, 10 years time. So my gymnastics coaches had a big role in helping me understand that reverse engineering, strategy. And I didn't even realize it till I was doing it in business that I'd learned that as a teenager in gymnastics.
How funny is that? Those things that we go through when we're younger, that we look back and go, wow, that's helped me in business. Even like working at McDonald's, right? I look at systems and processes was a huge part of McDonald's, and that's what I do for clients 100%. Now is I build
exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
I thought I was
and
just
then
selling
thirdly, I mean, that Macca's model is such, that's priceless for any teenager to learn, I think. You know, probably not the healthiest place to work, but certainly from a business perspective, very good. But thirdly, I want to give a shout out to every single woman, especially you, Sally, that has inspired me throughout my life, especially being International Women's Day today. I am so blessed to have such a wonderful network of women around me, and especially when I was in business a lot younger, I very much suffered a lot of the tall poppy syndrome abuse from other women, and it appalled me. And I just promised myself that I would surround myself with amazing women that I could lift up, but in return, when I've ever needed it, they've always been there for me. And if any of you are listening, you know who you are. And I am just really so blessed. And something I'm teaching my daughter is you don't have to have just one teeny tiny group of friends at school. Be friends with everyone. You know, learn what makes people tick and what makes them different, and love them for being different and unique, and, you know, and have a variety of friends, because it pays off hugely later in life to have a enormous supportive network around you. So to all the amazing women out there, thank you very much for being there for me, and I love you all very much.
Oh, so beautiful. It is International Women's Day today.
It is.
What a great day for this. And I agree, in the tall poppy syndrome, it's rampant here in Australia.
Oh, man.
It is so bad. I even met some women who moved to America to escape it because they got, you know, so sick of it. And I think this is why like 80% of my clients are in America. It's because it's just really not a thing over there like it is here. And it's so sad when together we work so much better than we do alone. When there are, I don't know where it stems from here in Australia, but tall poppy syndrome is so bad. And I experienced a lot of it when I was in network marketing. And, you know, I did really well in the company and was right at the top of the company, you know, the biggest team builder in all of APAC. But there was just this incessant tall poppy syndrome within the culture of the successful people. And it was dreadful.
It's such a shame, you know, and I operate off that theory of a rising tide floats all boats. So, why not rise together? Why not celebrate together? Why not, I've got people who are my friends who do the exact same thing that I do. But when they launch, I share their stuff. Even though I'm in complete competition with them, I'm like, yes, girl, go for it. And I share it on my socials and I, reach out to them and I shout them out, like it's so important to lift other women up. Like absolutely nothing more important than being there for your girls. So, and also that's then how we're teaching our daughters to be as well. So
that's it.
It's so important. That tall poppy syndrome's got to go. And I actually didn't even realize it till I went to America, and I went to Icon for Infusionsoft, and I went and did Jeff Walker's PLF formula, and I went to Traffic and Conversion. And these 3 conferences, I met the most incredible women who all they wanted to do was find out who I was, find out how they could help me, who they could introduce me to, and just shout me from the rooftop. And I was like, what's going on over here? This is crazy. And I was like, you know what? I'm taking this home with me because this is how it should be.
It should.
This
100%.
tall poppy syndrome has to stop in Australia.
Abundance.
It has to stop.
We talk a lot about abundance inside of the Sparkle world. And, I teach and help my competitors, and I teach inside of what some people would be considered like my competitors' businesses as well, because we all want people to be successful. We don't care whether they buy your program or my program or whoever's program, as long as the people are doing well and we're all supporting them as a whole. And we might teach similar things, but we teach it in our own way, in our own sparkle. And nobody is you. So, and this is, I guess, why I've got so many American friends, is because of that, that abundance mindset. And, we can all be successful. And you literally gave me goosebumps all over talking about that, because it's something that we hold really, really dear and close inside of our community, that it's actually part of our values. And I think it's so important that, we all work together to support each other. I go along and cheer on my people's launches and like you do, shout them out, tag them, share whatever you can. Because, I think when we build that culture around us, and you're teaching it to your daughter, which is fabulous, is would love it to not be part of the Australian culture, but we can choose who we hang around with, right? I'm very selective.
That's exactly right.
My close circle. And I think as you get older, you start to kind of disconnect and remove yourself from those types of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't experience it as much anymore, but certainly in my early 20s, when we had a very successful gym and, we'd be on holidays all the time, or I bought a new car or something, like the comments that were made were just unacceptable, frankly. And it's like, I'm working my ass off for this. So but as I've gotten older, you're right, you choose who you spend your time with, and you spend time with people that you can lift them up as well, so it's so if anyone out there is super young and you're experiencing that, change your network, babe. There's better people out there, and there are amazing women in Australia. Not everybody is like that, but the culture here is certainly very different to America, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. There's a quote from a book by Valerie Burton that says, choose your friends wisely and nurture them with intention. Because the more you nurture them and give to them, it will flow forward towards you in all different other ways that you don't even realize when you're helping people. Oh, that was like a goosebumpy, heart-feely DNA moment right there.
A little counselling session there.
Oh, I know, right? All right. So Mar always loves to have a little, we call it fast talk with Sally. Okay. And I have a heap of questions here, and we have 1 minute. So let's bring up the fast talk. So, hang on. Well, let's make sure Sally's on screen. She's here somewhere. I thought I'd set all my scenes up, but I guess not. There we go. It'll be just like a group of questions. Some of them will be short, but we're going to see how many we can get through in 1 minute. All right, here we go. Fast talk with Sally. And what is, would you go shoes or bags?
Bags.
Sneakers or heels?
Sneakers.
Audio books or books?
Audiobooks, dyslexic, ADHD.
Cats or dogs?
Both.
Oh, okay. Where do you like to spend your weekends? At home or with friends?
With my family and at the beach.
Late nights or late night walks or long car rides?
Oh, late night walks. Who wants to sit in a car?
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I really want to go to the Maldives. That's on my bucket list. So,
Yeah. Favorite food?
Thai or Mexican?
Favorite sport?
Gymnastics.
All right, there we go. Fast talk with Sally in 1 minute.
That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah, a little bit of fun times. Well, Rebecca, so much fun hanging out with you. I love catching up with you. And when I come up to Queensland next, we're going to have to take a trip up to the sunny coast as well.
Yes,
my husband's family is they're on the Gold Coast, but we always plan on, going for a nice big drive and heading up there after we've spent time with the fam. So it'll be really cool to come up and see you.
Please do.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Now, people want to know where to find you. Where do we find out more about Rebecca? Where can they go to check out things?
Yeah, just RebeccaFlint.com, Flint, RebeccaFlint.com. And you can find out about my Canva Society program there as well.
Excellent. All right. No, Mara, I haven't forgotten. So we always do a little question at the end, and you've got to say the sentence and then complete the sentence, okay? So the sentence is, I am Rebecca Flint and I sparkle because, and then you fill it in.
I am Rebecca Flint and I sparkle because I'm not even sure how to answer this. Because I love to help the world shine.
Oh, nice. You'll like our sparkle song. It's called Shine by Jaslyn Star.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you should Google it. Shine by Jaslyn Star. Go and check it out today. It's a really cool song.
I will. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us on the podcast today. It's always
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's always so good to catch up with you. And for everybody else out there, make sure you don't miss out on any of our live events, whether it's the podcast live recording, our weekly training, or every now and then we might run a week-long training. Just head to sparkleclassacademy.com/calendar to register for all the events. But we've had a fabulous time here with Rebecca today. And do you have any parting words you would like to say to our audience tuning in here live or on the podcast?
No, but thanks for having me, Sally, and happy International Women's Day to all the rock star queens out there.
I love that. Thank you. And everybody have a fabulous day. We'll see you on our next live stream, and bye for now.